We order food from the comfort of our home, and while we relax in our home, that delivery guy, he navigates the entire traffic of our city. He navigates during rain, during sun, under the sun, and he delivers the food to our at our doorstep. No doubt it is a kind of he is also working, he is also earning money, but there is a difference between how we earn as a regular employee, formal employee, and how someone is earning in a gig system. In formal system, formal setup, we get leaves, we get week offs, right? We get social security benefits like insurance. But the workers in the gig system do not enjoy these benefits. They are merely working. If they are not working on some days because of health or any issues, their money will get deducted, right? Very often they are not getting paid on time. They are also not getting paid on time. So these are the very basic issues concerning the gig workers. Gig workers means person who are working through some sort of app-based system, be it some cab driver, be it your two-wheeler driver, rider, or it can be your food delivery guy. So they are like app-based system. They are working, they are making money, they are earning a living, to be fair, but they are not enjoying the benefits, not enjoying the social security benefits like their counterparts are doing in the formal sector, formal economy. Formal economy means in a proper corporate setup job or in government job, right? So there is a huge gap, huge discrimination in terms of benefits and like services. So this gig system, gig economy in India is expected, it is already actually 7.7 million workforce in 2020-21. In the year 2020, in this year, the number of workforce working in India in gig economy was 7.7 million. It is expected that by 2029-30, it will reach to 2.35 crores. 7.7 million means 70 lakhs, around 70 lakhs. And into 2029-30, in the next 4 years, it is expected to reach nearly 2.5 CR, 2 crore 35 lakhs. That is a huge growth, expected growth. But while it grows and while these gig workers, there is a very good statement here, I just studied somewhere, like gig work is now becoming the mode through which Indian cities are fed, moved and supplied. This is a very good statement. Gig work is now becoming the mode through which India's cities are fed, moved and supplied. If you are writing this kind of statements in your answers, certainly it is going to beautify your answer. So while the gig economy is having such a growing importance in our country, why are we not talking in terms of their social security? We are not talking about their safety. We are not talking about their equality. We are not talking about their dignity. We are not talking about this. So in this context, very recently, there is a convention that got adopted by ILO. ILO is International Labor Convention. International Labor Organization. ILO. So this ILO, India is a founding member of ILO. This is a very old organization. This ILO has adopted nearly 190 plus conventions. Conventions means, in brief terms, you can understand convention as some sort of rules and regulations that the members of the ILO are expected to adopt. And if the members adopt these conventions, they are required to enact certain laws, rules and regulations that meet the standards of those conventions. So till now ILO has adopted nearly 190 conventions. The most recent convention that it adopted is the convention number 193. That convention relates to decent work in the platform economy. Platform economy means that app-based systems. So this is the convention number 193. India did not vote. India abstained in its adoption. So ILO has adopted. Now the countries will start ratifying this convention. Whichever country ratifies this convention, that country will be required to have some laws, domestic laws, that are meeting the overall framework, overall guidelines of this convention, and domestically the gig workers will be protected. So this is the overall structure, how it flows. Now take it this way, what is the issue actually over here? That India did not vote, neither it voted in favor nor it voted against, it merely abstained. India abstained. Why it abstained? There are different reasons, but abstaining from a convention that relates to gig worker is not giving a good picture of India. It certainly highlights that while India shows its commitment towards gig workers, it is not obligating itself to enact certain laws or rules. Now, in this context, you should understand what are the different conventions of ILO and how which of the conventions India has not ratified. So for that, let me bring it to you that ILO has ILO conventions. These ILO conventions can be categorized into three categories. The first one is fundamental. These are also called core conventions. Then second one are called governance related. These are called priority conventions. Then are called technical conventions. These are technical conventions are some issue related. They deal with some specific issues. They deal with some specific issues. Specific issues could be social security. Social security, it could be maternity benefit. If a convention deals with certain issues, that will be called specific issues. Now, why these are called fundamental core conventions? There are nearly 8 conventions of ILO which are called core conventions. Why they are called core conventions? Because they are very fundamental to the workers' rights. For example, what are the core convention? The core convention, the first one relates to forced labor. This is convention number 29. Then the convention is on equal remuneration. That is convention number 100. Then the convention is convention on abolition of forced labor. That is convention number 105. Then convention on discrimination. Discrimination in terms of employment and occupation. That is convention number 111. Now you might be thinking that why I am talking about giving all these numbers. So I will let you know why these numbers are important. Then the convention on minimum age. That is convention number 138. Then the convention on child labor. that is convention number 182. Then we have convention on freedom of association, that is convention number 87, and one more, a right to collective bargaining, that is convention number 98. So these are the 8 core conventions. Core conventions means these are very fundamental to the survival or existence or betterment of the workers. This is convention number 29. Then convention 87, 98. India has not ratified these 2 conventions. All the other conventions India has ratified. So out of the 8 conventions, 6 have been ratified by India. Now why this is important? Because in 2017 or 18 prelims, UPSC has directly asked a question regarding which of the conventions have been ratified or not ratified by India, and it has mentioned the convention numbers. So that's why 87 and 98 convention number have not been ratified by India. Then there are 4 conventions related to governance, and the remaining nearly 180 conventions, more than 180 conventions, are technical. This convention on related to this gig economy, decent work in platform economy, this convention is a technical convention. This is convention number 193. India has abstained. That means India might not be ratifying obviously in near time, in near future. Now the question arises, why India has not ratified? Like why that India has not ratified? Reasons? What could be the reasons that India has not ratified? The very first basic reason that India usually does not ratify a convention unless and until it has a strong domestic laws. India has recently implemented some labor codes. One of the labor codes was related to occupational health and safety, that is still under implementation phase. Enacting another domestic law to meet entirely, totally the requirements or frameworks of this convention, India did not find it suitable. India is also, and this convention, I have a very important thing that I missed actually, what this convention actually provides for. So this convention number 183, it actually relates to, it is written over here, they have provided that pay as per the statutory or negotiated minimum. Bare minimum pay as negotiated, on-time payment, occupational safety and health, social security, right? There is also algorithmic management, means there are the various apps, there are various platforms which like deactivate the workers based on some very trivial complaints. So they also even assign the works, the delivery projects or cabs, rides to certain like different category of riders or drivers, that some sort of algorithm is at the play. So this convention number 193, this provides for some kind of guidelines, some frameworks related to timely payment, related to occupational health and safety, related to algorithmic management. Unless and until India is having a strong provisions, a strong infra, a strong system that can ensure these benefits, merely ratifying or voting in favor of the convention won't work. That is one of the reasons. Second reason, it says that it is a matter of federalism as well. Labor is a concurrent subject, so it is a matter of federalism as well. That is also it is being said. So these are two basic reasons because of which it is being said that India has not voted in favor, and chances that might not be ratifying as well. But out of this entire issue, out of this entire news, what you need to focus, what you need to understand is that the different kinds of conventions of ILO, which conventions India has ratified, what is the importance of this convention number 193 that relates to decent work in the platform economy. This is the latest convention. You must have a good awareness about this convention. This convention relates to gig economy, and what are the basic provisions, basic features of this convention. They relate to timely payment. They relate to safety and health. They relate to algorithmic management. So these are some of the basic features, basic you can say core crux that is important from this article. Beyond that, you can like that is not much important. And one more thing, the basic you can say the core facts that you may understand, may remember. Now we will move to next article from the Hindu that is also very important. It is actually not a editorial, it is a core news article, and this news article is full of data. We won't be going in too much of data, but we will understand the significance of this data, what this data is all about. First thing, understand this way that there is a home, and the home has two brothers. This brother is elder one, and he is the younger one. So two brothers are there. To run the house, both the brothers should have some sort of responsibility. One is earning. If both are earning, then there is very good. Both should also think in terms of betterment of the family. What could be the betterment of family? How it is possible? How the family is living? If the family is facing any challenges, for example, suppose in your home the tap water is not clean, it is dirty. So the brothers have to figure it out why the tap water is not clean. Suppose there is a water seepage from the ceiling, then the brothers have to look into it, why it is sitting. They may need to innovate. They may need to find some ways, right, so that the family lives peacefully, lives comfortably. Now the problem here is, what if only the elder brother is doing all the innovation and the younger brother is just enjoying the innovation, or a younger brother is doing much less? Suppose the elder brother is earning only 10,000 per month and the younger brother is earning 50,000 per month, for example, but still all the innovations, all the efforts are being by the elder brother, and the younger brother is merely enjoying that innovation. Don't you think that the betterment of the family, the ultimate objective, will not be met effectively? Why I am giving this analogy is that this analogy applies in terms of Indian economy. Indian economy has two brothers. One is the government, other is the private sector. The government means public sector. So these are two brothers. For the betterment, for the advancement of Indian economy, it is very much required that both the brothers work on innovation. Work on innovation. What kind of innovation? They need to innovate some solutions to the burning issues that the country is facing. They need to innovate. They need to do research in terms of, for example, take the real examples like a space, research in terms of medicines, research in terms of health, research in terms of education, right? Research in terms of construction. How can the construction be sustainable? How can the construction be affordable? So these are certain segments, certain sectors in which innovation is required so that the emerging issues can be resolved and the Indian economy as a whole can march ahead, can progress easily. Now, for all this, both the brothers should have a proportionate responsibility, should have decent responsibility when it comes to innovation. The problem with India is that when it comes to research and development, for a very long time, government sector was having very higher share in comparison to the private sector. That has been the case. Like if you have been following current affairs, or if you have been preparing for civils UPSC for a very long time, you must have noticed it. You must have written this also in your answers, that research and development, in terms of research and development, share of the government is on a very high side as compared to private sector. Now this entire concept is going to change. How it is going to change? This news article is entirely about that. This news article relates to research and development, expenditure on research and development by the private sector. How much private sector is spending on research and development, and that it has actually crossed the government's research and development spending in financial year 2024. So there is a lot of facts over here. We need not go into all the facts. Just we will figure out some basic core facts that are written over here. What are the core facts? The first core fact is, pick the year 2019 and 20 and 2023 and 24. In 2019 and 20, take it this way. Suppose this is the overall expenditure overall research and development expenditure. In 2019 and 20, 2023 and 24. This research and expenditure in 2019 and 20, it is said that 1.33 lakh crore. That means 1,33 CR. That is a very huge number. This number increased in 2023-2024 to 2,45,000 CR. So in 2029 to 20, overall expenditure on research and development, I am not talking in terms of government or private, I am talking research and development expenditure as the Indian economy as a whole. In 2029 and 20, it was 1.33 lakh crore, and in 23-24 it reached to nearly 2.5 lakh crores. Now this number is very huge. I will simplify it for simple terms. Consider it as if you divide this number by 365 days, means 1 year, it will come out to somewhere 364 crores per day. And if you divide it 365, if you divide, it will come to at nearly 671 CR per day. You can calculate it. So this is the per day level expenditure on research and development in India as a overall. 364 crore rupees spent on an average per day in India in 29-20. 671 crore rupees on an average were spent in India per day in 23-24. Now out of this is the gross. Out of this, if you look at the private sector, in the private sector in 2019 has spent 44,800 CR, and in 2023-24 it has spent 1,26,800 CR. Again, divided by 365 days, you will come at 123 CR per day, I guess, more or less. You can calculate and let me know. And next one will come 347 CR per day. This is, I am giving a rough figure. It will obviously it may be coming in like decimal points, but I am giving a rough figure. So out of this 364 crore, private sector has spent only 123 crore per day. But in 2023-24, out of this amount, private sector has spent nearly 347 crore per day. Total amount spent on research and development was 2,45,000 crores, and private sector has spent nearly 1,26,000 crores. that is nearly 51%, more than 50%. It is nearly, it says 51%. So the share of private sector in research and development has increased to 51%, that is more than 50%. That is, majority of the share from private sector is coming up, majority of share in terms of expenditure on research and development is coming from the private sector. That itself is a very important, very significant point. Why it is important? Private sector means private universities, private institutions, private companies, private research bodies, right? If these companies, these private bodies are also spending on research and development, then obviously there will be innovation, better products will be coming up, and if the better products are coming up, that is certainly going to benefit Indian economy as a whole. So ultimately the younger brother is also coming up for the betterment of the family. So this was the second article. Now we will move to our third article. That is very a small article. I am just including this article in today's discussion because this article has been written by P.D.T. Acharya. He is the former secretary of Lok Sabha. Usually the polity related articles to his polity related articles are quite enlightening. They are very informative. This article is very long, but everything is not important in this article. This editorial, briefly, actually I will let you know very briefly. This article is all about Foreign Contribution and Regulation Act 2010. This Foreign Contribution and Regulation Act, it regulates the inflow of money to India from world. Money is coming from world to India, and in India it is given to NGOs, trusts or other bodies. It could be educational institutions, it could be research institutions. They are getting funds from outside India, maybe from philanthropic bodies, maybe some companies, maybe even from other governments or foreign governments, and they are receiving money and they are using that money in India. They can use money for educational purposes, they can use money for health purposes, taking care of the health of the vulnerable sections. They can use money for promotion of some basic skills, that also can do. They can use the money for promotion of environmental sustainability, right? So these were the ultimate objectives, and it says that it is regulated. This foreign contribution is being regulated. Why it is regulated? Because there is always a fear that if we are not regulating this foreign fund, there are chances that the funds may be used for anti-government activities. Like suppose a government plans to build a road or build a highway in the Himalayan region, that is very important. For example, I am saying consider it important for India's border security. But in the name of environmental sustainability, funds start coming from other countries, and they are like, if the fund is coming, then they are getting very vocal against this infrastructure development. So ultimately it is going to defeat our domestic requirement of having a strong border, betterly fenced border. So the fear was that if the funds are not regulated, then they may be used for anti-government activities. So that's why this FCRA Act always remains in use. Very often government keeps coming with amendments. So very recently the government is about to bring FCRA Bill 2026. Again, this bill will be amending some of the provisions of this act. This article has not talked about this. This article talks about a very one or two provisions of the act. What are those? To understand that, first you think this way, that there are certain categories like cultural, economic, educational, religious or social programs. These are the 5 categories. These 5 categories Under these 5 categories, if an NGO is working or any trust is working, and if the NGO seeks foreign contribution, foreign funding, then that NGO must get some certificate from Ministry of Home Affairs that okay, I am working under these 5 categories and I need help from foreign funds. That certificate is needed. Without the certificate, they cannot accept foreign funds. Now, this bill 2026, this talks about, gives a provision that if this certificate somehow gets revoked, like government can have the authority to revoke the certificate. They may revoke the certificate of some NGOs that okay, you are working against the interest of the governments with foreign funding. You are like supporting anti-government activities, or maybe you are receiving fund for the promotion of education, but you are using that fund for some other activities. Like that means diversion of the funds. So for any reason, for any specified reason, if the certificate can be revoked, what happens if that certificate is revoked? In that case, all the foreign funds, or the assets created using those funds, those will be transferred to a government authority. That means if the NGO has worked for 10 years, created some assets, accumulated some funds, foreign funds, but after its certificate gets revoked, all the funds will get vested in the government authority. So this is the basic one of the provisions that have been provided, that is being provided in the bill, and PDT Achari sir speaks against this provision. He is having his own thoughts. No doubt there should be like to be diplomatic, there should be like balanced provisions. There should be no ambiguity in terms of provisions. For example, revoking there is a provision that certification can be revoked for in the name of public interest. So public interest itself is a very vague term. So obviously there should be clarity of the grounds, on what grounds certificate can be revoked. No doubt these are the valuable concerns, but this article is not talking about that. This article is merely highlighting that in case the certificates are revoked, the funds and assets will be kind of seized. This will evolve more articles as the bill progresses the house, as the bill gets passed. More provisions will come up to the light and we will cover it in